The activity I want to talk about is called flower writing. I think it's a useful activity because it helps students focus both on their vocabulary and on their writing. We're focusing on their writing in stages, so they're working towards putting together an effective piece of writing by the end of the class or maybe for homework. I'll talk a little bit about the stages of the activity. First of all, I get my students to think of a topic, or we might already be looking at a topic, for example, from a course book. That topic could be, for example, a place you know well, or a place you like, a place you've been on holiday, for example. And I get my students to think of that place, for example. And the reason it's called flower writing is because I give my students a sheet of paper with a flower on it that looks a little bit like this. And in the middle, they write the name of the place that they're going to be focusing on. So that's the first step. After that, I get my students to think of some sub-themes of that place. So, for example, they might be thinking about something they particularly like. It could be to do with the weather, it could be to do with the scenery, and for each of those, they think of another phrase or word. And they write each of those phrases or words in a petal of the flower. I usually use a flower with 5 petals, and so the students are focusing on 5 key areas. After that, I get my students to share their ideas with each other, to compare what they've written, maybe to help each other a little bit with the vocabulary, and then to talk to their partners about what they've chosen in terms of their 5 areas. This allows the students to maybe expand their vocabulary a little bit. It's also worth saying that right from the beginning I allow my students to use dictionaries, be they electronic or paper dictionaries, so that they can work on their vocabulary as they're going. The next stage then is, after they've focused on 5 key areas, is to really kind of brainstorm those areas and then to write any words that come to mind or phrases that come to mind related to each of those areas. So they'll write a few words related to each of the petals. So for each of the petals, they might write a few extra words. So for example, if they've written the word scenery, they might write mountains, lakes, meadows, anything that comes to their mind, and maybe a few phrases as well. So at this stage, we've got 5 petals with different topic areas and words and phrases related to those. As you might have guessed, these then turn into paragraphs. So the idea is that the students have then got the basis for paragraphs for a piece of writing they're going to do. And we then focus on what the task is going to be. So for example, if we're focusing maybe on a Cambridge exam or something, the task could be writing an article about a place that you've been to. And each of the petals end up then being a paragraph for that article. The students then have time to organise their ideas, decide which order the paragraphs need to go in, and then after that they either write the piece of writing in class or for homework. The next stage would then be some kind of peer correction where students are helping each other with the writing, and that might be in the next lesson. Or alternatively, they display their flowers with their petals with the pieces of writing around the room, and other students go around and read them and decide, for example, which place they'd like to visit the most. One thing we can adapt with this is, for example, at the beginning of the class, we could have a warmer where the students are given this template, but instead of writing the name of the place or the topic, they fill in all the petals and their partners have to guess what the key topic is. And that I find is sometimes a nice way to start the activity.